News 46 is brought to you by Comfort Hospice Care, where we give our patients and their loved ones peace of mind, knowing we provide the highest quality of care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information, call 751-0349. News is also brought to you by the St. Therese Mission, a future venue for cultural and environmental events near Pahrump. Get involved. Visit us at sttheresemission.com or call 702-507-4172. News is also brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us a call at 751-2300 and make an appointment to tour our community.
Tonight on News 46, a Nye County Sheriff Sergeant is arrested for drugs.
A teenager and her grandfather are struck by a drunk driver.
Flames engulf a garage on Atkinson Street. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Deanna O'Donnell and Jason Koblenz. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Monday, January 27th, 2014. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Jason Koblenz for News 46.
Nye County Sheriff Sergeant Michael Horn has been taken into custody on various drug-related charges. Nye County Sheriff Sergeant Michael Horn was taken into custody Saturday morning and charged with 6 counts of possession of a controlled substance, possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, coercion, burglary, unlawful use of a controlled substance ×3, oppression under the color of office, petty larceny, misdemeanor possession of stolen property, and DUI. According to the press release on Friday, January 24th, prescription medications of a deceased person were turned over to a Nye County Sheriff's deputy. The deputy reported that he was pressured, allegedly, by the suspect, Sergeant Michael Horn, to turn the prescriptions over to him instead of booking them into evidence as per policy. The deputy alerted the narcotics officers, who told him to mark the pills and turn them over to Horn upon direct order. It was determined that Horn entered a semi-secured room at the sheriff's office with the intent to steal prescription medications. Several hours later, the prescriptions were reevaluated by the narcotics detective, at which time it was discovered that 60 morphine pills were missing. Nye County Sheriff Tony DeMaio was alerted, and a search warrant was granted to search Sergeant Horn's person, the Nye County Sheriff's Office vehicle, and his residence. Nye County Sheriff's Office administrators waited for Horn on the morning of January 25th to relieve him of duty pending investigation and execute the search warrants. On the way to the Sheriff's Office, Horn responded to a call involving an elderly female reporting a noise outside her residence. During that call, Horn made contact with the elderly female and told her that she had to give him her prescription bottle of pain medication. The woman turned over the medication. The prescription was located on Horn's person when he arrived at the sheriff's station. A urine test conducted on Horn reportedly showed 3 different categories of controlled substances. Based on Horn operating his vehicle and wearing his sidearm, as well as possessing long guns in his patrol vehicle while being under the influence of a controlled substance, Horn is charged with DUI, first offense, and possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. A search of Horn's Nye County Sheriff's Office issued patrol vehicle turned up several different types of Schedule II controlled substances, including liquid morphine and pain medications. Sergeant Michael Horn was arrested and transported to the Beatty Detention Facility to face charges. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46.
An alleged drunk driver is the cause of an accident on Leslie Street. A teenager and her grandfather were reportedly riding their bike when they were struck by a pickup truck Saturday afternoon.
Tonight's accident report is brought to you by Stovall & Associates. Don't expect insurance companies to have your best interest in mind. Stovall & Associates cares. Let us help you if you have been involved in an accident.
A vehicle versus 2 pedestrian accident occurred on Leslie Street on Saturday afternoon. Nye County Sheriff's deputies blocked traffic while Mercy Air landed on scene to transport one patient. The other patient, being a young juvenile female, was transported to Desert View Hospital, where she was subsequently airlifted to UMC Trauma Center with injuries sustained as a result of this accident. We spoke to Fire Chief Scott Lewis.
Dispatch report of a pedestrian motor vehicle accident. It ended up being two bicyclists that were struck by a vehicle. It's my understanding that the sheriff's office may have arrested that person for DUI. The injuries were significant. They required trauma center. So one was flown immediately from the scene. The other one went to Desert View, and it's my understanding subsequently was transferred by medical evacuation to trauma.
You had several different apparatus on scene there.
We did. We had our medic units. We had our heavy rescue, because when we go to a call for a pedestrian motor vehicle accident, we never know if the vehicle may have come to rest on top of an individual, if the vehicle subsequently may have overturned, or what the nature of the collision is. So we come prepared for just about any scenario that may have be presented to us on our arrival.
And only one occupant in the car, as far as you know?
That's my understanding.
News 46 spoke to the grandmother of the juvenile female that was on scene, who told us that the juvenile female sustained facial trauma as well as other injuries. Both the grandfather and granddaughter sustained serious injury and are both in critical condition, according to the grandmother. Arrested on scene was a man by the name of Michael Rice. He was transported to the Nye County Sheriff's Office Detention Center. He's been charged with DUI with accident with substantial bodily harm and failure to exercise due care to a bicycle. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. After the break, we'll have today's health tip concerning umbilical cord stem cell banking.
They hoped they would never need them. One family's decision to bank their baby's cord stem cells proved life-saving. The story next on Prescription Health.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Albertsons. You're in for something fresh.
Welcome back to News 46. Umbilical cord stem cell banking. It can be expensive and controversial, but Jamie and Ben Page decided to bank their daughter Harlow's stem cells just in case. Then, just in case became a reality. Marty Salt has the story.
This health tip is brought to you by
Desert View Hospital and Mountain Valley Physicians Group. Don't put your health on hold. We have time for you. Call us to schedule your appointment. 775-751-7100.
She spins, kicks, and giggles like most 5-year-olds. Harlow Page is full of energy.
This is Harlow when she was first born. We had heard about cord blood banking and talked about it a lot and thought, let's just go for it and have it just as a backup.
But they did need it. Harlow had cancer in her uterus.
On the ultrasound, they immediately saw that there was a mass in her abdomen about the size of a grapefruit.
After a year of chemo, the tumor was gone. Doctors wanted to keep it that way.
So when the doctors found out we actually had her own stem cells, they were very excited.
I think that her umbilical cord cells were used as a boost to her own cells when we harvested her to have adequate cells for reconstitution.
Dr. Morgan does not advocate private cord stem cell banking at birth to be safe for a healthy baby's later use because it's not clinically useful and it's expensive. The Pages paid almost $2,000 for the initial banking fee, plus an extra $125 per year. But banking for a sick sibling is worthwhile. She says only 1 in 4 siblings are a match, and sometimes finding a match can be difficult.
We could come across a patient whose HLA type doesn't match with anything that's already in the bank.
Just before her 5th birthday, Harlow's cancer returned. Her parents say the stem cells gave her 4 years to grow strong so her body could fight this. Harlow has undergone radiation and surgery to remove the tumor. She's receiving 40 weeks of chemo.
We still think that she has a really good chance of being cured with her current therapy.
I'm Marty Salt reporting.
The Pages say banking Harlow's stem cells was easy. Right after birth, the doctor collected the blood and a courier took it to the bank. There are a number of umbilical cord stem cell banking companies online. The Pages recommend doing your research to find a reputable one. They chose a private bank, but say if you choose not to go that route, consider donating in order to provide a potential match for someone in need.
A fully engulfed structure fire required quick response from police and fire crews Sunday afternoon.
First in crew was a medic unit that was in the area of Desert View. They found that a detached two-car garage at the rear of the property was well involved. There were numerous exposures, including other structures, personal property, vehicles, and vehicle parts. Also, a closely located neighbor's property was also in immediate jeopardy.
There were some explosions, too, on scene.
There were a number of cylinders and other type of products that are under pressure that were venting, and so the fire crews had to take a defensive exterior attack to ensure their safety. Crews quickly cooled those tanks and moved forward for suppression.
Was there any extensions that were involved in this?
All the exposures were protected, so there was no extension beyond the fire building.
A late delay, I'm sure, on the fire because of the being a detached garage, that they didn't see it for a while, right?
We're not unsure. It appeared that it was a pre-code type of construction, and there was a number of steel products in the erection of that particular type of building. So that certainly helped things, but once the fire presented, it quickly took off with the wood decking. It was an older type of material. And again, the nature of the products that were stored both in the garage, there was a full-size pickup truck that was also in the garage that became well involved. So there was a number of different things that came into play with the suppression effort.
And do you know the cause of the fire at this point?
We're looking at most likely an accidental and possibly related to a malfunctioning electrical device, an exterior wall device that was used for surveillance and such, and lighting. But again, it's early stages. We're taking everything into account at this point.
Shortly after the structure fire was reported on Atkinson Street, a two-vehicle accident occurred just 1 block south of the fire scene.
During the early stages of the fire, there was a lot of smoke production. It was a very dramatic appearing fire, and there was a number of personal vehicles coming in the area of the scene that were not only blocking some of the fire apparatus from getting in timely, but we had to be much more careful because of the increased traffic volume in that particular area. As a result, once we were operating on the fire grounds, we were dispatched a report of an injury, a possible injury accident involving two vehicles within the same area. And it has been determined that people coming to see what was on fire actually became involved in this accident.
So what do you recommend people to do when they see a suspicious fire or a fire that they kind of want to go see what's going on?
People that aren't necessary to be there, wait for it to come out on the news and watch it. Don't try and come to the scenes because, number one, in the dynamics of any given fire, it could add additional dangers to anyone that comes in the area. One of our big challenges is to try and keep people out of the immediate area. As we talked about during the earlier piece, there was a number of compressed gases located on this fire scene, and we don't want an explosion to occur and additional injuries that are totally unnecessary. Motor vehicle accidents, and we've had so many pedestrian motor vehicle accidents this year. We want to keep everyone safe, so we ask you not to come flooding to the areas. Allow the emergency responders to come in and do their job, make sure everybody's safe.
And a single vehicle rollover occurred this morning on Corbin and Wilson Streets. A single vehicle rollover occurred on Corbin and Wilson Street. Nye County Sheriff's deputies and Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue arrived on scene to find one vehicle in the yard of a residence. The male and only occupant of the vehicle told deputies on scene that he was traveling southbound on Corbin Street when he lost control of the car and ended up in this yard. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue medics checked out the driver on scene, who declined to be transported. We spoke to Fire Chief Scott Lewis.
Sheriff's Office is investigating the nature of how this accident occurred. Upon arrival, we found a vehicle resting on its roof. It was located on the property of a house located on the corner of that intersection of Wilson and Corbin. There was an injury. However, the person opted not to have medical treatment. We subsequently cleared the scene. There was no spills or anything along those lines from the vehicle.
You don't know if this person was wearing a seatbelt at the time of the accident or not?
The person had self-extricated prior to our arrival, so we're uncertain as to whether they were wearing their seatbelt.
The driver received a citation on scene. Nye County Sheriff's deputies are investigating. This is Deanne O'Donnell for News 46.
And well, folks, we'll have more news right after this.